special guests, Nick.
What's going on, everybody?
Man, we have bounced back and forth on Twitter for a while, and I saw you out there commenting like, man, you want to get back in the saddle a little bit, and work was giving you some issues and everything. I was like, man, you know what? Man, come on through, man. We got a little spy here for you. You got to get in on some of this Dak hype right now.
Hell yeah, man. Happy to join.
Absolutely, man. Man, good to have you. And of course, man, y'all know why we're here. Let me just go ahead and change it.
What happened? Something happened tonight?
Man, I think something happened finally. Something finally happened after 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Dak is officially going to be your quarterback, not for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years for sure. Then we might see the extension. But 4 years. He signed a 4-year contract. 4-year contract. He is in the building. He is the guy moving forward. There's no more guesswork. We can put it to bed. We don't have to ask, is Dak going to be the guy? Is he going to be here next year? Man, hey, it's a wrap. With that being said, Spoonie, man, tell the people how you feel, man.
Could be better, but you know what? The Dak Prescott being signed today, it was definitely great. It's definitely awesome. It definitely puts away the bad all the negative conversations that folks was having back and forth with Cowboy Nation and other fans as well. It puts everything to bed and now let us focus on the offseason, the free agency part.
Indeed, it does. Nick, you have definitely fought the good fight. I have watched you battle SWAT. We've been in some battles together against some people on Twitter as it came to this Dak situation and getting him paid and everything. Man, seeing that finally come across your screen and knowing that it was real. Man, how'd you feel first thought, man?
I felt good. I think it's one of those things where you have faith in a certain player. You've seen him perform year in, year out. You see the guy continue to improve. And you think that he's the best option for your team moving forward. So it's great to finally have that deal done. Like you said, it's been 3 years in the making. So relieved. And like Spoonie said, it's time to actually start looking at the future and figuring out what we can do to actually make this team continue to get better. So
big facts. Let's get to some brass
just now starting.
Right. Let's get to some brass tacks of the contract. So we're looking via Mr. Rappaport and others out there. 4-year, $160 million deal to stay in Dallas. Maximum value of $164, including $126 million in guaranteed money. It also includes two big things, and this was one of the things also that was kind of a hiccup last year at the very tail end, but they were up against it and they were trying to get it done. And they ran out of time. Is Dak wanted that no tag provision because the same thing that Romo had in one of his contracts, right? So he gets both. He gets the two-hitter here, the no trade clause and the no trade provision, right? The deal is going to average $42 million a year over the first 3 years. Obviously, $75 million in the first season, $66 million in signing bonus. I know all these numbers sound really big, but the big number that we want to talk about is year one against the cap. He's only going to cost the Cowboys versus the cap $22.5 million. Right, so we were talking about the tag being 37.1. This is 15 million less than what the tag was going to be against the cap. That's something we've all kind of preached on this show. We have Nick. I've seen you preach it as well. Hey, if you get this deal done, he's not going to cost you that much, especially year one. Do you think the sticker price of the 42 per, which I kind of talked about a lot? I was kind of shocked that people were surprised by that. Do you think people will grasp the 22.5, and also on the backside of that, spreading that knowledge? Do you think the Cowboys are going to actually take advantage of it and maybe get a little bit more busy in free agency? Nick, we'll start with you, brother.
Yeah, well, I think one big thing that a lot haven't really caught on to yet is the 2 voidable years that are added onto that 4-year deal.
Right.
So right now we're looking at these cap figures. We're looking at the structure at the deal, which hasn't been officially released or anything like that, but there's rumors about what's going on. $22.5 million the first year. Second year, whatever that figure shows is not what his figure is going to be actually played on. The reason being is you're able to spread that signing bonus across 5 years. Well, it's technically a 6-year deal. So they'll restructure it again next year to continue to keep that cap low. So the flexibility of having not only a 4-year deal, but having those 2 extra voidable years makes it a world of difference. So being able to to keep those cap hits low, yeah, they can focus on free agency. They can potentially bring in guys that are a little bit higher price. Not saying we're going to go out and spend, all world money on these young studs, but hey, give me some middle of the road free agents. Let's continue to build that team.
Well, and then Spoonie just dropped out before we could get there. But exactly, the biggest thing about that too, with those voidable years, we start talking about the contracts that are coming in from the TV side of things. And remember, the big thing last year was, well, the Cowboys wanted long term, Dak wanted short term. They kind of found this middle of the road, right? Where, yeah, it's 6, but really it's a 4-year. And basically what this does is, whenever that money kicks into the cap and the cap explodes, they can come back to the table with Dak one of two ways. Okay, well, this didn't work, and we're going to part ways, or they can come back and say, okay, Dak, this is working fantastically. Here's another deal, or he can go get his money somewhere else. So the give and take in that was he got the 2 things he wanted. No trade, no tag. I'm going to sign this deal. Yep, there's 2 voidable years at the end, whatever. I'm getting the 42. My agent wins because it's going to read $42 million per year because that's what matters. The headlines. The Cowboys are able to save some. The Cowboys are able to save some money here against the cap, especially this year. They can move things around over the next couple of years, and then they can sit down at the table and revisit it. It's going to be one of those deals. I think again, sticker shock is again the sticker shock kind of surprised me when I first saw people kind of losing their mind whenever Jane Slater reported. But at the end of the day, this sticker is like when you go to a car lot. Yeah, it says a price. But really, it's like, hey, guys, I got this cash money, though. And they're like, you know what? Okay, I'll take this in hand. So on the outside, here's what it did to me. And I'll ask your opinion on this. To me, everyone's going to look and say, Todd France and Dak won. That's what they're going to say about this deal. But honestly, I think both sides gave some concessions here because both sides wanted to be together. How do you feel about the deal structure from what's being reported overall?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was a win-win for sure. If you would have maybe had $42 million on average per year for only a 3-year deal and that was it, I would say then yes, the Dak and Todd France, they took home the gold. But the fact that they got a 4-year deal with options for 5 and 6, it's win-win. It's a great structure. It gives them options. It keeps your guy in house. Kind of like you said, yes, you see a price tag and it's a little bit scary at first, but those numbers are not going to stick. I wouldn't be surprised if they start renegotiating another deal in 3 or 4 years. So, as long as the next couple years the cap hits are low, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
big facts, man. I definitely co-sign that. Oh my God, Jay Tuck's in the building. Let me get Jay Tucker in here real quick. 3, 2, wow, there he is. Jay Tuck's in the building. What's going on, Tuck?
Good. What's going on, everybody, man? What's up, my guy Nick, man?
Yeah, what's going on, my guy Nick was out there struggling. I can't get on as I've been able to get Nick in here. Yeah, man. I do want to get your opinion on this because this is something we didn't talk on your show, and me and Nick just kind of ran through it and see what you think. When you look at the structure of this deal, right? And the sticker shock's going to be the $42 million, right? And it's $42 million over the first 3 years, so on and so forth. When it comes to that, it's a 6-year deal with 2 voidable. Really, it's a 4-year deal, right? Right. And they can kind of move around, and then they can walk away and say, okay, either we're going to pay you or not. Dak gets the big win. Where Dak, to me, gets the big win out of all of this, right? Besides the security to a certain extent, is no trade, no tag. So once we get to the end of this and we've got to avoid those years, right? You can, y'all can either pay him again or move on. But to me, I think here's the masterful job, right? Because we've banged on Steven, and for good reason. I am gonna tip my cap here just a little bit when it comes to Steven. Is this point right here? I think personally, this deal makes it look like Todd France and Dak Prescott won the day. Right. For those that are the casuals, and we've already seen people complaining about the 4. I've already seen people complaining about his money already.
Right.
But on the back end, I think this was a very good job of both sides giving concessions. And it works for both sides very well because they wanted to be together. Do you see that deal that way, or do you think one side won more than the other?
Yeah, I think that both sides actually won this deal, which makes me, granted, we probably will never get the true answer, but what was the original offering going on last year versus what we actually saw signed today? But I feel like there had to have been some type of compromise, and it maybe have been with the no tagging and the no trade clauses. I'm not really sure, but for the most part, like you said, it's going to look like that was clear out one that the Cowboys cave. But I think for the most standpoint from the Cowboys perspective is to be able to stretch the money a little bit out. We always spoke about the 22 mil versus the cap. So everything kind of worked in both favors. Dak was able to kind of get that between Watson and also Mahomes money. Like everything finally worked out. But my question is, what took so long? Like what was really the holdup for so long about this? Because you feel like this deal could have got done months ago or even not last year. But I feel like it's a win-win for both sides.
We'll stop right there, and I'll spin it around because I have my thought process on that. Nick, what do you think? What do you think? I'll start with you, Nick, on that one. What took it so long, Nick? In your
Stephen
opinion.
Jones' lack of ability to commit to players. Honestly, this is not the first time that it's taken a long time to get a contract done. I think he has a little bit of an ego, and he doesn't want to look bad. He wants to win these deals. He wants to have a clear-cut opinion by the public that, hey, the Cowboys got a great deal. Just like you said, I think the general public, a lot of the casuals will think that Dak and his team won the deal. But in reality, they actually did come to a conclusion and kind of met in the middle. So I think that's most of it. I think Stephen Jones works on deadlines, and we're getting close to a deadline. And so they kind of forced their hand.
Spoony?
Listen, I look at it the same way as D-Law. The first year he could have had D-Law signed. He wanted to wait another year to find out if D-Law was the guy. And even though it cost about $3 to $5 million extra, that's what happened. He got signed. With Dak Prescott, pretty much almost the same thing. We seen life without Dak once he went down during the season. And basically how much of an impact he basically saw the difference between him being on the team and him being off the team, and especially how much it means to the players and the Cowboy fan base. I mean, everybody. We all see him when he went down. America was out there reaching out to him, so it kind of shows what type of player he is. And end of the day, listen, it couldn't be in their minds to even think about life without Dak. They had to go out there and make this deal. So I just think that he wanted to see a second chance again.
You know, again, and kind of piggyback off of Nick a little bit, and this is kind of where I was this past couple of weeks or so, where I really kind of turned my table on. I'm like, this deal's going to get done because Steven. Here's the thing about Steven: he always folds. I mean, he does. I mean, you look at Zeke, right? You look at D-Law. You know, now he will definitely play this out, but when it gets to a certain point in his time, he's going to fold. Now, he's holding the line. Now, no other team ever holds their line against their franchise quarterback, and that was always been my big bugaboo. Man, you want to do it with the linebacker, you want to do it with the running back, whatever, but you don't do it to the quarterback. And that's just a lesson where I guess I'm going to call him young Steve compared to Jerry because, Jerry's a little bit older, right? And maybe young Steve just hasn't learned, that process yet. I guess that's the only thing I can come up with. And, when I looked at everything, I was like, that big bullet of 37.1, you don't want that because you're in trouble. You got to touch a lot of contracts all of a sudden.
Right.
And then when it gets to the brass tacks of what they're trying to do, and some of this was on France too, because France didn't want to have his quarterback after moving on to his own agency, right?
Right.
France was motivated to get this deal done as well because you already got Justice Simmons tagged for a second time, right? Bud Dupree got hurt on the tag. The only guy you got paid so far was Ryan Tannehill. He couldn't fumble this. He had to get it done. So you had two sides that were motivated. The reason it takes time and business takes time. They were still over the two things of, to me anyways, the no trade and the no tag, because the no tag was kind of the big stickler last year. And I guess I'm going to be willing to bet, when we get a 30 for 30 from ESPN years later, that was maybe the final hurdle they had to get over. But again, Steven has to fold, but Steven's like that kid. He's just going to sit there and wait and hold his breath till the very end. And then when he has to absolutely unequivocally fold, he folds. And, maybe some of this was a little bit of luck, guys. I'll even spin it to this, even though I thought this was getting done beforehand, maybe the fact they had to hold up because of the money and they're trying to figure it out and this is going to get extended. And he's like, what? I know it's 180 for sure. I'm just going to get it done and pull the tag. So, man, it sucks to be like that here in Cowboys Nation with your quarterback. But that's the way Steven does business. That's why I tell a lot of people, stop saying Jerry, start saying Steven.
Right.
And it will make a lot more sense to you. But the thing that I like about the contract situation, I'm going to spin this around to y'all as well. There's three guys about to get paid, right? So Dak's number 2 right now, right? Quote unquote. He's number 2. We got Lamar, You got Josh Allen and you got Baker Mayfield. How long is that going to be number 2 to y'all? I mean, this deal by next season is going to look like peanuts, guys.
Right. That's
like
what
peanuts.
I said in my tweet about a week ago. It's like, breaking news: Dak Prescott is the second highest paid, and then boom, you're gonna get Josh Allen. Then boom, you get Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield. Like the market is going to continue to increase. I know there's been conversations about which quarterback would reset the market possibly, but at this point, I don't think there is going to be one. I feel like for the most part, this 42 and above will pretty much be the standard, especially for the 3 you got coming down the pipeline. Because Cleveland, they can't afford to miss out on their quarterback. Like they got their guy with Baker Mayfield, they're gonna run with it, man. So. Yeah, I'm just happy we actually beat them to the punch, because my biggest fear was, okay, boom, we get Lamar Jackson's contract, and Todd Francis like, hold up, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Let's pump the brakes on that. So I'm relieved, man. I'm just, like my guy Marvel said, well, I'm not smiling. I've been smiling all day, bro, since this news broke, man. I'm good. So
and to piggyback off Jay Tuck, the one thing I'd add too is those fan bases are about to go through exactly what we went through. As far as talking about, the overall who's the highest paid, where are these quarterbacks slotted? None of those quarterbacks are necessarily the best quarterback in the NFL, Right. So will they break the 45 million? Maybe, probably not, but they'll be in between Dak and Pat Mahomes as far as APR.
Yeah. The Allen, I'm very intrigued about the Allen deal. That's the one that has me very intrigued. I think Lamar's going to get his money. I know Baker's going to get his money too. The Allen deal is the one I'm keeping my eye on, though. To see
I think Allen's going to be the highest one, though. But I think it depends on where it falls as far as who goes first. But I feel like Allen is going to be, if there's anyone going to be closer to the Pat Mahomes kind of range, it's going to be Josh Allen. I would think. So.
Right.
Well, one that I would actually look at, and he's actually not even going for a second contract, would be Russell Wilson. I could definitely see him wanting to get back to the negotiating table. He already doesn't like being in Seattle. So hey, you know what makes me happy? $50 million a year. That would make him happy.
Yeah, and depending on what Aaron Rodgers is feeling, because the one thing he wants as well is he wants another concrete contract so they can get rid of him with everything that's going on there. But we're not worried about that. We're not, because we're excited about that. We're going to stay right here on Dak. And with Dak coming now, we knew this was going to happen. We talked about this on your show, Tug. Nick, we kind of talked about this before we got online, me, you, and Spoonie, all right? So what is our cap space now after signing Dak? Can we still sign people in free agency, guys?
No, we can't. We signed Dak. We can't dress defense now, man. We're done. we got to roll with what we got, man. That's what everyone's been telling me for the last 4 or 5 months, man. No more money. So.
Stoney, can we get some guys in free agency now?
Listen, we could always get guys in free agency. We learned that from watching other teams, especially guys like teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, that you got a spot track. They had $3 million under the cap, and all of a sudden Christian Jones was signed, Pat Mahomes was signed. So why can't So why can't other players be signed after that? And here's another thing. Damn, we still under the you count 22 million for the first year, right? We still under the
22.5, yeah. 20,
we're still under the cap, and we can still restructure some deal to create up to 90 mil, right? So, and the total cap number hasn't even come out yet, so we don't even know the total.
We know one, yeah. We know 180 for sure, right? We know 180 for sure, but it could go up from there because the players' union is trying to get the TV deals into the cap this year. We have to kind of wait and see. Nick, can we sign some free agencies? Can we got Dak done? Can we get out there and do some things?
Oh yeah, you can always sign free agents. You can always make it work. Kind of depends on the comfortability of the player and how much you want to commit to them long term. So again, if we're going to only do 1-year deals and we're going to do some bargain shopping, that's going to limit you a little bit. But hey, if we start looking at some guys that we could maybe stick around for 2-3 years, you could always make it work. Make it work.
Yeah, look, the cap is real, but the cap is also a myth. Like if they, whatever you really want to go do, man, you can
say that again. Say that again, man, for one more time, man, for the people who's not listening.
Yeah, the cap is a real thing, but it's a pseudo myth. They have a bunch of guys with pencils that crunch numbers and do things within those organizations to go get people that they want. Don't be scared and don't listen to these bigger organizations that say that. And when I say bigger, the FS1s of the world, right? The ESPNs of the world that say, oh, well, you just can't do nothing no more. I mean, it's a fallacy. It just is. I mean, go look at what the Rams have been doing for the past 3-4 years. They've paid people, and then the very next year got rid of them. Oh, you talking about Jared Goff? No, I'm not just talking about Jared Goff. I'm talking about Brandon Cooks. I'm talking about Todd Gurley. They
Mhm.
literally paid those guys, and the very following year got rid of them. So you can get out here and do things within this cap to go bring people in. Now, Steven can choose to hide behind that now, and he's done a good job of hiding behind that. Absolutely. But no, and that's the one thing, if you ever tuned in long term here with the Star Game podcast, I've always said they can go get busy if they want to, but Steven is just Steven. He believes in drafting, and he believes in paying his own guys. You know, and he'll get busy on some trades, or try to trade, or he'll make some trades. You know, and my biggest issue has always been with the Cowboys. There's 3 different ways to acquire talent, and one of them is free agency. If you just ignore 1/3 of that, it's kind of hard to get over the hump. And Steven has ignored that, but we'll see. Last year to me was a better step forward than what they were trying to do. No one thought we would get an Everson Griffin in here. Now, it didn't pan out, fair, but they did go do it. So I am intrigued to see where we're at now that the Dak deal is done, and where we're going to move forward. But with that being said, and we're onto this Dak deal signed, and we know it's only going to cost us 22.5 against the cap. Let's spin it around the table, guys. Let's spin the wheel. All right, give me 2 guys you want. Give me 2 guys you want. Don't have to be big splash. Just what 2 guys you want to see the Cowboys go out here and get busy with free agency. Nick, you're first timer on the show. I'm going to roll it to you first, my friend.
Yeah, I'll do. I mean, the number one guy that I think would help this defense, Dalvin Tomlinson. I want a big dude that could help clog the middle. I think having a dude like that covers up some of your other deficiencies. I know we're really worried about linebacker, or at least I know a lot of people out there are worried about linebacker. I think he makes linebackers' jobs a lot easier. He potentially helps keep LVE a little bit healthier. He helps get guys off of Jalen Smith, who is not a fan of contact. So I think that would help a lot. And then is there a rangy free safety that we can get? I know we're not going to break the bank on a free safety. How does a guy like Malik Hooker sound to you guys? That's a guy that you can commit to a couple years. He's not going to be overly expensive because he's coming off a couple injuries. So again, there's no guarantees to this, but he's been a playmaker in the past. That's a guy I would be interested in actually like gambling on. So
and look, and that's and here's the thing about that. When you talk to like guys like us on Twitter and different things, that's not just a great guy to throw up. And Spoon, I know you've been making the Malik Hooker thing. That's a Stephen Jones kind of guy. I mean, look, top very high draft pick. Mm-hmm. We know when he was coming out of college, he's been beat up a little bit. Not going to cost you a lot, but if he turns out and is healthy here, my goodness, what did you find? I definitely love those 2 picks here. Spoonie, 2 guys you can bring in here.
Well, listen, my wish was always Tomlinson and Simmons, but Simmons is off the list. He's getting tagged. Marcus May, we learned today, is getting tagged, but I'm with Nick. I do want Marcus Williams from the Saints. Well, I'm gonna be realistic.
Right.
Stephen John. I'm gonna be realistic. I can't get too excited. I'm excited today with Dak, but I'm gonna say Tomlinson and Malik Hooker. For Malik Hooker, here's the thing. His first 2 years in the league, he was top 5, even by PFF. He was balling. The last 2 years, he had the injuries. So if we do sign him, I want us to draft a safety just in case, but I'll be okay with that. Malik Hooker, if he's healthy, listen, he's a baller.
Right. Hey, look, man. I mean, Steven just, maybe his hand didn't cramp, signing that big check there for Dak, that $66 million signing. Maybe he's like, you know what, this feels good. Maybe I want to sign a couple of more. Or it's gonna be like, ooh, what's my pocket look like? Ooh, I can't spend nothing. But 2 guys, J Tuck, did you like to bring into Cowboys this offseason?
Yeah, Stephen Jones is like, I just got you your PS5. Don't you ask for a second controller? Like, nah. So, that's when it's like, all right, cool. We'll get the second controller later, man. I was playing, we'll pass the controller around a little bit. I've been there. But yeah, I would say Dalvin Tomlinson is definitely that one guy for me. I mean, granted, like Spoon said, Justin Simmons was top on my list, but that's not going to happen. But Dalvin Tomlinson really solidifies an area that we really need to focus on when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys defense. And, shouts out to my guy, Norb Kim. He's a Seattle Seahawks YouTuber. Great content. I was just on his show a second ago. KJ Wright is one of the names I keep bringing up, a guy that I like to add onto this team. He said, don't even think about it. But if we're able to add the guy to kind of add, some linebacker depth with this team, because I feel like linebacker definitely needs to be an area of focus because we're kind of thin right there. That would be one of my focus. And if you're able, like you guys said, bring on a Malik Hooker,
Right.
and then have an insurance policy via the draft. If you go like maybe a Darius Washington or a Morick, okay, I'm cool with that. But I would like to address Dalvin Tomlinson and then really get this front seven solidified. And then, another guy that people probably won't think of, but in-house guy, I would say Cheeto Awuzie. I mean, I would want to bring back Cheeto to actually have that security when it comes to our cornerback position. There's been conversations about Reggie Robinson moving back to his traditional position, the cornerback, so that can add a lot of depth, man. So those are the kind of guys I would be keen on moving forward.
Yeah, I think about which, by the way, the offensive lineman from the Titans, the first round draft pick. Y'all see what just happened with him? Yeah, you see what just happened? Dolphins traded. They got him and they swapped 7th round picks.
Oh wow!
My goodness! We were too busy signing Dak. So
it's all right. It's okay.
Here's where I'm going to be. I'm not going to get all the way. Look, and I spoke about Dalvin Tomlinson on your show, and I've been banging this up with Dalvin Tomlinson for a long time. But until I see Stephen Jones really go out here, and I'm gonna bring a little bit of true serum into this thing, a little bit from my standpoint, right? In my opinion, is that until I see Stephen go get a young guy and commit to him in free agency to be a long-term sign here, I'm just going to have a hard time believing. I know what they like to do is go get these guys that can be difference makers, right? But they're just basically whole plugs on 1-2 year deals, and we're going to draft their replacement bridge. So how about this one? Let me go get. I'm still going to address defensive tackle. Can I go get Sue? Can I go get the assassin who just goes around everywhere and wrecks shop? Right. Went to the Super Bowl over there with the Rams, I think, and then he just won the Super Bowl over here with the Buccaneers. Can I get Sue and can I go get Patrick Peterson? Patrick Peterson, again, I think he's one of two holds, right? Because I think he can play the free safety because he wants to. He's already said, I'm going to switch to free safety. I think he's definitely rangy enough to do that at this stage of his career. We have, Coach Joe on board who helped Woodson do the same thing in Green Bay. And hey, look, if I need to drop down the slot and cover one of these tight ends, I think Patrick Peterson is more than capable of doing it. Or if I needed to play outside the corner still, I'm trusting Patrick Peterson right now more than, say, a Richard Sherman. I know Richard Sherman's a hot button guy that people are talking about because of Dan Quinn. But for me, if I need a corner, I'd rather have Patrick Peterson on the outside, I think, than Richard Sherman. Now, of course, it comes down to cost. I'm a little long in the tooth. But those kind of guys on 1-2 year deals seems like the thing that Steven would do. I would absolutely love Dalvin Tomlinson on a 3-4 year deal, though. I would kill. I hope Dan Quinn goes in there, bangs the table, says, hey, you want this defense right? Give me this guy. I don't care what else you do in free agency. Bring me this guy. I'm tired of us getting gashed. I'm tired of the easy money gifts. I'm tired of CJ Anderson butterballs rushing for 200 yards on us. I want that to stop. I want to stop. And people always ask, well, you need to fix the secondary. Fix the front seven. I think if the front seven's right, I think the secondary is going to play better. So I would like to see the front seven get fixed first and foremost. Another guy, too, and actually, I was about to say, Matt Owen just brought him up. Anthony Harris is still out there. There's a Ricardo Allen who's getting some looks already. Anthony Harris kind of had a down year this year, but the thing about Anthony Harris was they had no pass rush this year. I mean, that Minnesota defense just wasn't very good at all, right? Emerson Griffin was out the door. Hunter was hurt and was gone for the year. So they just didn't have any kind of pass rush. And, I mean, look, if you can't get no pressure, secondary can only cover for so long. So Anthony Harris could be intriguing. He kind of fits that. He's got some ties here, obviously, with Edwards. So, yeah, definitely some interesting prospects. If you want, a lot of people know, my guy Chop out here with the Marcus Williams and Sue. Shout out to you, that's Sue.
There's going to be a lot of names out there. I mean, there are already a handful that have been released. Like, it's going to be more than normal. So we might not get that top guy like Tomlinson, like we've all said. But if you get any of those, mid-round D tackles, I think that could do a lot for us.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of value available.
There's going to be a man. The way these teams are doing with this cap and what's going on, and now there's word out there if they get the TV money into this that the cap can get all the way to $200 million. I think that's a reach, though. Personally, I don't think it's going to get to $200 million. I think that's the top of the line. Wishing. I think we're at 180. I think at the most it gets to
195.
Maybe 185.
Yeah,
right.
185, 190, maybe, but the 200, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. But again, there's going to be so many players, back to what you were saying, Nick, but there's going to be so many guys. I mean, we've already seen Dunlop get out there. Geno Atkins looks like he's about to be on the cutting block as well. We already, Zach Ertz of the world. We already see Rudolph from the tight end from Minnesota. There's going to be so many guys that are going to be out here and available. Now, It's a buyer's market, as they say.
Right. That's what we
And
say.
when it's a buyer's market, you ain't got to spend as much.
Right.
Are the things maybe lining up for Stephen Jones to say, okay, well, I can go, typically these would be tier 2 guys, but now all of a sudden I can get 3 and 4 of these guys in tier 3 or 4. And that'll be the interesting part of this free agency that we go forward.
And here's the thing: you think of it from the standpoint is that we've been saving money for so long. Now a lot of these teams are strapped for cash, and a lot of these players are going to come available. So now it's time to pull the money out of your pocket and go more aggressive and get some of these guys that can really shift this defense in the right direction. And I feel like if you're bringing in Dan Quinn, what we went through last season, like I feel like they're going to kind of give him some keys to be like, all right, go get some ingredients. Get some ingredients, man. What do you need to really cook? And I feel like he can say, I need this and I need that. Okay, here's your budget for that. Go get that. So hopefully that's the case, but one step at a time.
and let's pivot off of this, right? How about this? Here's the second chance for the Cowboys. Here's the big thing with signing Dak, guys. First and foremost, for everybody that's in the chat, man, drop them a fire emojis and show me how happy you are that we got
fired up. Fired up. Chat,
because the chat's already lit anyways on YouTube and on Facebook, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Man, light it up, man, for this. If you got something around, take a shot even. Dadgummit, look, I got a little something. Ciroc Boys in the building tonight.
Boys in the building, man.
I get mine.
Ginger ale. Whatever you got, milk, ginger ale, tea, man, get your big old swig. It's all good. Here's the thing, though. Here's the second chance for Stephen Jones, right? How about this one? Here's the second chance for Stephen Jones. You had Dak on the 4th round contract, rookie deal, and you never went all in, and you never did nothing.
Right.
You're about to have your starting quarterback. I don't care what y'all say, Cowboy. Look, if there's some Dak haters in here, this is not.
I haven't seen it. I can't find them.
Hold on. But if there are some in here, this is not the chat that you want to hear. You're about to have a top 5. You're about to have a top 5 quarterback account for $22.5 million on your salary cap going into next year. If we miss the window, which we did, of going all in on a rookie deal with Dak, right? When better than now, guys? Like, here's the second opportunity, the second coming, if you will, for Stephen Jones to go out here and say, okay, you know what? We didn't get it done on your rookie deal and go in for you, Dak, but you know what, damn it? We got you for 22.5. Yeah, you're richly paid, and we can worry about year 2, 3 later, especially with those 2 voidable years that me and you were talking about off camera, Nick. Here's the time that we can actually say, okay, the one thing I'm talking about here a lot is pushing the chips all the way in. And Stephen Jones has a second chance and an opportunity to make up for that mistake. What do you think about that, guys? Am I crazy there? Do y'all think that's something that's viable? Nick, I'll start with you.
I definitely think it's viable. It's whether Stephen Jones and Will McClay and still Jerry Jones to some extent, whether they can figure out which guys they actually can bring in. If they play conservative, it might not work out as well, but they do have the ability, they do have the flexibility to do so. So that's why I'm so curious to see how these next couple of months will go. They haven't had the cap flexibility that they've had in a long time. So it's not quite a blank canvas, but it almost is. A lot of the young guys are still under contract and their cap hits aren't crazy high, especially ones with guaranteed money on their deals. So it'll be interesting to see.
Spody?
Oh, listen, I'm with Nick. It's going to be very interesting to see these couple of months. The one thing I will say is this. We know Stephen Jones can be aggressive when he wants to. We've seen that when they tried the wide receiver by committee before trading the first round pick for Amari Cooper. So with that being said, and also even playing with the idea of adding safeties, am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Between Jamal Adams and Minka, it was flirting with the idea. So it tells me that if he wants to do it, he can definitely do it. Right. But you know what? You signed Dak Prescott. Now your offense is already set. Defense is the issue. You should do the same thing for the defense as best you can. I know you can't sign everybody, but if you get a Davin Tomlinson and then a solid safety or a solid one-tech defensive tackle and a bona fide safety, guess what? We'll be in the ballpark. Because that's really the two things we really need the most to start that defense up.
Yeah. Jonathan Hankins even.
Right.
Another one-tech there that you can go get. Go ahead there, Jake's up. What you think?
Yeah, and I feel like what this really does, it gives opportunity for Mike McCarthy to really redecorate in-house. Like he has some money to kind of play around with and maybe get some guys that he likes and kind of redecorate and shift the defense around. Now, from the offensive standpoint, we're kind of solidified, but maybe get some of his type of guys in there because we definitely have the wiggle room, man. So we can kind of see a change and move on from, I know Spoons, I'm not going to mention his name, but move on from these guys that we've been accustomed to.
Xavier Woods, I'll say it. Xavier Woods.
So we can move on and transition. I mean, because we got a lot of guys defensively that are up for contracts that we can possibly now move on from and bring in some new blood and some fresh ideas and some new talent. So, granted, I don't want to drink the damn Kool-Aid, but damn it,
I got you.
It's a cup right there. But I'm
careful.
I know they got me, bro. They got me, but I'm excited. But I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. But I'm excited. I'm excited the opportunity that the Cowboys now have in front of them. We have a new defensive coordinator. We have our quarterback. Offense is set. We brought back Kellen Moore. Now there's a few additional pieces to this defense, and we can really get back to what we thought we were going to be last year. So,
right. Russ Hunter. Here's the thing with Justin Simmons, man. The word is they're going to tag him. So unless you're trading, so I mean, you're not going to be able to pick up Justin Simmons.
He's probably calling Todd France right now, and Todd France like, "Nah, bro, I'm cool."
Yeah, right. Todd France sending him directly to voicemail right now. Todd France models. He's got paid. Like, hey, if you're a quarterback, I'll get you paid. Anybody else, I don't know what to do for you. But yeah, it's something that me and Nick was talking before y'all got in here. We were off camera a little bit. Was for the first time in a long time, is we can be excited a little bit more about free agency right now. Because they've done the right things. They're taking care of the cap the right way. You're going to have Dak on a cheap contract. You have the opportunity here, right? You got your offensive coordinator back. You saved him, got him on the 3-year deal. You went and got a defensive coordinator. And look, no matter what anybody thinks about the defensive coordinator, he was a 2-time Super Bowl guy as a DC, and he was a 1-time Super Bowl head coach. I mean, he has weight in the game. You can say, well, he inherited the Legion of Boom and this, that. Hey, man, the guy knows on the highest level how to get there. He's won 1, he's lost 2, right? Whatever. And again, they brought that guy in here to fix this defense immediately, not long-term this thing. Everything that they've done is about right now, right? So they've done the head coach, hey, get us over the hump. The DC, all right, come on in here, fix this. All right, you got Dak, and you got Dak on a cheap first year, which we all sit here and told everyone, maybe sounds a long-term deal. He's going to be cheap year 1. Here's your window. Here's your window right here to go get active and do what you need to do to really have a chance to go do this thing and go over the top. So again, this free agency is going to be very intriguing. It's going to save me some of these white hairs here that my wife wants me to get taken care of here soon.
Right.
Of not having to worry about this, as my guy Matt Owen just said. Man, we ain't got to talk about this in July.
That's my biggest fear, man. 4th of July, y'all talking about you want to go live and talk about this Dak like hell no. God, we can focus on meaningful football conversations, man, and really building this team up, and we can move on.
Now, I want to pivot because I want to ask the same question here that you asked, J Tuck. Was that is there more pressure in the building now? And look, I'm gonna switch it a little bit, not just on Dak. I mean, you get paid; he comes with it. We see how D-Law was all world, and he got paid. Nobody see. We know how that goes with Cowboys Nation, but I'm talking about the front office in general. That now. You've tied your cart to this horse basically with Dak Prescott. Is there more pressure in the building that maybe causes Steven to get more busy in free agency? Do you think that matters or that doesn't matter, Nick?
I think it does matter to some extent. I think just the optics of having a QB locked in for multiple years means, hey, this is our guy. So now we got to make it work. You don't sign a franchise quarterback and not try to win it all. So, there's always pressure with being involved with the Dallas Cowboys. Signing a record-setting deal in terms of guaranteed, there's going to be some pressure. There's definitely going to be some criticism the first interception that Dak throws. We all know that. So we just got to live with it. And, again, it's a long-term move. So,
the first one goes in the dirt. Oh, come hell or high water. Oh, look at there. That's what we're paying him for.
Dak, the very first pass I thought was going to be in the dirt off of principle from them jerks.
For everybody that talked about clocking it, riding the dirt, clocking it. Right. Spoony, what do you think? Is there more pressure within the bubble of Frisco now? Do you think maybe a little more pressure on Steven and Jerry now?
Of course. End of the day, listen, we was blessed to even get CeeDee Lamb at 17 last year. That's a big thing. We got Amari Cooper, we got Gallup, and not only that, I know the offense. Bless you. I know the offense players. They're excited right now to have number 4 back. I mean, like I said, we all saw how the crowd reacted, and the fan base and the players, the whole world reacted when Dak went down. So now that we all see that he's signed, these guys are hyped. Now, my thing is this, is that at the end of the day, the management always got to do their part. Quarterbacks don't – that's why I hate it when they keep saying it's like quarterbacks play defense. They don't play defense. They play offense. But end of the day, the management got to do their part and getting the plays that they need. We're not strangers to complaining about the safeties, the front seven, stopping the run. We see it. Stephen Jones sees it. Now it's balls in your court. Mike McCarthy can't do it himself. Dak can't do it himself. The players can't do it himself. Mike McCarthy has to, not Mike McCarthy, excuse me, Stephen Jones going to have to go out there and add the talent. And don't just rely on the draft. Sometimes you got to spend that money to get somebody that can hold it down, and that's what he has to do.
Right. Matt Owen again saying there's certainly more pressure on McCarthy now. Year 1, wash, injuries, COVID, etc. Year 2, QB got paid. You need wins, Mike. But Jay Tuck, more pressure on the front office in the building now with Steven and Jerry now that the quarterback's paid and here we are.
I was 1,000% agree with what Matt just said about it's on Mike McCarthy now, because you got to feel like now the Cowboys have shown they're committed to winning now, per se. They're not going to go through a rebuild mode and really tear down and let you rebuild. Plus, who is Dak Prescott's guy? It's Kellen Moore. So Dak's going to be here. Kellen's going to be here. We're going to need see some improvement. So I feel like the pressure's really coming down on Mike McCarthy. I feel like from a Dak standpoint, the pressure really won't amount on him for the most part, because it's always been a microscope. Every little throw has been criticized since the day he stepped in Dallas. So, I mean, what will really change except the conversational shift? Was he deserving the money? Or, so I feel like Dak will be okay. But I think that, seeing with the contract and how it's been structured, we are going to sit back and really see, like, what are the Cowboys really going to do? Because that was every anti-Dax fan was their Achilles heel, and their crutch was, we're not going to be able to attack free agency, address the defense. So we sit back here and we're in free agency and we're scrolling through Twitter and whatnot, and we're not seeing no type of action. Right. We're going to look at Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, like, what are you guys doing? Now's the time to actually seize the opportunity. So, I feel like the microscope's going to be placed more on Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, but also Mike McCarthy moving forward, because I feel like right now they really have to seize this opportunity to really build this team to get them more set for winning in the foreseeable future. So,
yeah, and it's like it's so different whenever Romo got a second contract, right? When he got a second contract, it was like, okay, you're getting the second contract to go when it's a Super Bowl. The caveat here between Romo's second contract, big contract, I ain't talking about the one he got paid from the rookie year. I'm talking about the second one, and then Jerry's like, oh, well, he's going to be Peyton Manning first in. You don't have to have that conversation about that. Look, and I'm not a Romo hater. That's not what I'm here. I love Romo. I bled Romo. I defended Romo in so many sports bars, you have no clue. But I'm saying, we signed the quarterback, and we don't have to have that conversation about, well, he's Peyton Manning, and right. But whenever you get the check, though, and one of my favorite things, I don't care what industry you're in, there's things that come with the check.
Right.
At this point, look. If you're worried about where Dak is as a Cowboys fan in the pantheon of quarterbacks, you're wrong. And this is the thing that I said on Twitter. I think you actually, me and you went back and forth on this a little bit, Nick, with some other people. It doesn't matter what y'all think. Inside the NFL bubble, people believe Dak is a top 5 quarterback. Right. Period. Like those are just the facts for the most part. If you don't like him, he doesn't pass your eye test or whatever. Well, I mean, that sounds good, but it's not the world or the reality of what the NFL bubble is. He's paid like a top 5 quarterback now. And with that means, hey, you're paid, you're solidified, you're a made man, if you will. Right. Go win a Super Bowl now. And that's where we're at. And I love this right here from Renee. You got a 3-year window. And literally, that's what you've done. You paid Dak. You have the quarterback. You have a 3-year window. And to me, that's why I say, yeah, sure, is there pressure on Dak to go perform and be well? But there's always been pressure to do that. Right, and Dak's to me, I think the pressure has moved over to Steven now. Like, hey, your gig is up. We've seen you since 2013, 14, how you've operated. You goofed the rookie contract of Dak.
Right.
You have the right kind of cap numbers with your quarterback now, where you can be active and go. This, to me, going forward, barring the big catastrophic injury of Dak or things that you can't control, it's about building this team, and it's squarely on Steven. I think the pressure is really on him, which again goes back to making this free agency class very interesting in how Steven operates on this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my opinion. Dave in the building, man, long-time watcher of the Star Game, says Dak inked. So focus will now go to the holes we have, hopefully. Yeah, and I mean, of course. And the one thing, another thing, we'll all give Steven some flowers a little bit. They definitely cover holes before the draft where they're not pigeonholed to taking somebody. Now, they've missed, but they've had coin tosses. They've missed. They had the coin toss of Taco and T.J. Watt. They missed, right? Rob Marinelli got his guy. Then you had the coin toss of Tristan Hill and Juan Thornhill. Although I like Hill, I think Hill can be a player. Early on, though, they missed because Rob Marinelli got his guy. So outside of those kind of coin flips, they've covered their bases, and they don't just have to be like, okay, well, we're taking this guy. Hence why you're able to draft the CD Lamb last year. Hence why this year, maybe you take offensive lineman at 10, or maybe you take a Kyle Pitts at 10. So you kind of figure yourself up, and that's the thing. I'm not going to start the Kyle Pitts train tonight. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get this thing
maybe
going.
you start Dak, man. Let him go ahead and give you
I'm not saying that. I mean, give me another toy. It's fine. Hence why I'm not. And I want to ask you this, since Dak's in the building, we know what's happening. Me, I've been consistent all offseason. I'm not trading. Look, you're going to give me something pretty significant to get Gallup off my team, because I think he brings a different dimension than the other two wide receivers bring. And I know I'm going to get minimum a 4th round compensatory pick, but I'm feeling like I'm going to get a 3rd for him. So it has to be something big. Are y'all in the ballpark now that Dak's under contract? We're moving forward. We're trying to get this SEO, as we coined here on Stargang, the scorched earth offense moving forward. 40 burgers. Maybe we can get up here, maybe closer to 50 burgers. I'm kidding. But 40 burgers for sure, I believe in. Are you let's keep Gallup along for the ride for one season and let him walk and do whatever? Or do you want to try to dibble and dabble and move him? Nick, what do you think about Gallup? What's your opinion with Gallup now that we got Dak in-house?
Yeah, I think for me, that has to be a draft day decision. There has to be a guy that I absolutely love and that can have a bigger impact than Michael Gallup, and I don't see that really happening. So I'm riding with Gallup. I have him on my team. He's going to be a contributor. But yeah, if someone's willing to take him off my hands for a second in the draft, and I see a guy that is potential starting safety, I might start thinking about it, because you really only have one year left on his deal. I don't see them re-signing him. But let me ask you,
who's your safety? I know you know. Who's your safety? Who do you love? Everyone's got a different pet cat as safety. Who do you like, Nick?
I like a number of different guys. So it kind of depends on what direction they really go to and how they approach free agency.
Okay.
So I know what Spoonie mentioned earlier about, hey, you bring in a guy and potentially draft one. I really think you actually need 2 safeties still. I love Donovan Wilson, but I want 3 guys that you can rotate. Yep. So, give me a rangy guy. Give me a guy who's not afraid to tackle. And then you have Wilson that can be a ball hawking guy that can also tackle. So, number of different names. It's hard to narrow it down to this one.
I'm an Andre Washington guy, personally. I know he's small. I know he's short. Man, I think he's a land shark. I love him. That's my guy. But I'm with you, because we are very slim at the safety position. We need multiple, especially with Reggie going back over the corner. Yep. That's why we got to start worrying about Xavier Woods going to get re-signed. And I'm sorry, Spoon. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry, Spoon. I'm sorry. I know.
I'm not feeling too good right now.
But onto the Gallup, Spoon. Spoon, with now that Dak's in house, we know where we're at. We know where things are standing. Are you holding on to Gallup, or are you trying to move on from him, man?
Listen, I'm gonna hold on to Gallup until I see something crazy. I wouldn't even put it past me if Gallup takes a friendly deal. It wouldn't put it past me. Sometimes when you know where you're at, you know where you love, and sometimes guys would take that deal, and especially when you don't pay taxes in Texas. So he may take a nice friendly deal. But like I said, I'm with Nick. If somebody presented me a trade that it's like, wow, I can't resist it, because Gallup can't be a number 1 receiver on the NFL roster. But at the same time, I wouldn't be so fast to want to get rid of him, because we just saw the Super Bowl between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, they were loaded.
Right.
You need that depth. One guy goes down, you're pretty much out there. So, having Gallup is a plus. It's just more weapons, more depth, great rotation. But if somebody comes with a trade like something that, like, wow. Let's say Denver came out and said, hey, we'll give you Justin Simmons, give us Gallup in the third.
Sure. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Todd Friend's going to hook us up with some deals now since he got Dak done. Todd Friend's like, you know what? Let me get Simmons over to the Cowboys.
I like Todd now. We go with Todd.
Jay Tug, what do you think, man? You holding on to Gallup for this year? You trading him, man?
Yeah, I mean, let's say we take say we draft Slater, right? We don't, we don't go the Pitts or we don't go the Chase route. Then I'm all aboard keeping Michael Gallup on board because it makes our offense more explosive. And I also feel like what it really entails is that now since we have Dak Prescott that's taken care of, I feel like all three of those wide receivers, they know they can eat in this Dallas offense. I mean, they were all eaten last year, based along before the Dak injury. So I feel like Michael Gallup, if we can actually show, look, bro, we're competitive with this team, we're going to be in the running for thick of things, that he might take a friendly type discount just to be a part of this roster. I don't feel like Michael Gallup has his ego where he wants to be that guy. Now, granted, he's going to want his money, but if we're able, let's say Michael Gallup has 1,000 yards receiving, CeeDee Lamb, also Amari Cooper, and we're making a run in the playoffs, I feel like that will be enough to keep Michael Gallup if the price is right. Now, you can't lowball him, of course, but if you make a fair offer, I feel like he might want to stay in-house. So I would hold on to Michael Gallup unless someone was to give you like Spoon said, a mind-blowing offer. If the Jets would say, Quentin Williams or something, okay, Michael Gallup, that's cool. I love you, bro, but best of luck in New York. But I feel like for the most part, you have to get that equal value because granted, though, Michael Gallup did have a few drops here and there. When we needed him in big moments, he was there. And as you mentioned, Knicks, he does bring a different dynamic than CD and Cooper actually brings his offense. So I'm all aboard. It's like, keep the gun reloaded. Let's run it back. And it's from there, man. So
yeah, that's me, man. I want the clip. I want the extended clip. Full. Right. I'm trying to get Pitts on this team even. I don't care what it takes. I'm all in for a 1-year run to go get 6, and then I'll deal with the fallout afterwards is where I'm at. I like this from Dominic White as well. It says, go all in. Sneaky feeling this will be Tyron, Jalen, Gallup, C. Will, and maybe Zeke's last year. Can't keep the band together. And we'll see how that plays up. But I'm with you. But back to the front part of that, man, go all in. Man, just man, go all in. And look, you got your quarterback paid.
What do you have to lose at this point? I mean, the key pieces with the Cowboys, they're all in house. I mean, the offense wise,
you know why? Because we signed our quarterback, Jason.
Our quarterback. So now we're really playing with house money. If we go all in, we're perfectly fine because we have for the next 3 to 4 years the real critical pieces of our offense and also defense wise with DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory possibly. So go all in, man. So that way, when you guys come here to Kansas City with me and Nick, we ain't got to worry about getting 40 ball, man. We can actually come up with these weapons and make things happen, man.
Man, that is big facts. Real quick here, Queen checking in, talking about now is the time to have the come to Jesus moment. I love coming to Jesus moments, guys. Right. We need players who produce and stop with all caps with the potential project players. Sacks and interceptions translate from college to the pros. Well, that's why, for me, I like a particular guy out of Syracuse, but I'm told Cisco's not that good. He's boomer bust, but I definitely do like that. I'm asking a question from Mike. Man, I get my Cowboys sets from a plethora of different places. You've been a long time watching. You've definitely seen some different ones that I rock here and there. But yeah, definitely. I kind of peruse online. I got a little thrift shop that I can kind of get some from as well. They're always legit. They'll all do the bootleg stuff. Then of course, man, lids, man. Hey, man, don't sleep on lids. Look, don't go to your local lids, man. Hit the lids online. You'd be surprised what you find. But yeah. Oh, and of course, we jump in here again from Queen. Woods needs to be voted off the island. We're in survivor win mode. Spoonie, somebody after your own heart, sir. After your own Queen here, after your own heart with this Woods. But again, let's bring that up though. We're going to approach it. I'm sorry, Spino. This is a sore spot for you. And we're talking about the lack, right? And you brought it up. Nick, you brought it up for sure. They gotta, man, you kind of feel like, right, man, it just kind of feels like you look at the numbers game, right? Xavier Woods, they're going to cost you a lot of money. You're not really going to pay him to come in here and be a starter. What do you give a percentage that Xavier was? Let's do percentage game. percentage that Xavier Woods is on the Cowboys roster next year? Nick doesn't like the question. I'm sorry.
It's hard to answer because I think we were all in agreement that we'd prefer him not to be here. Honestly, I think it's more likely than not. I think it's 60 to 70% that he's here. I think the key that you mentioned is as long as you're not paying him to be a starter, it's one of those Band-Aids that he might be on the roster. But again, if you can move him down the depth chart, get a guy that can step in and be your starter with Donovan Wilson, I'm okay with it. I think he's somewhere in between what a lot of people think. I don't think he's as bad as we all think that he is.
Right.
Comparing how he played this last year, he's been better in the past. So as long as we can get the first 3 years of Xavier Woods, I can tolerate it. I still want better. I wouldn't want to settle for it, but I think that's what
do you think Dan Quinn can help his game?
I think he can help his game. I think more importantly, though, again, it goes back to investing in other people, other positions. If you can invest in that D line, that front seven, you can cover it up. Again, not the route I would want to go, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Spoonie put the shades on. I'm going to wait. I'm going to save Spoonie for the last. Jay Tuck. And look, and I'm going to turn my head around backwards for this one too. For Spoonie. I don't know where this is going. But Jay Tuck, your percentage of Xavier Woods being back.
Now, since we signed Dak Prescott long term, we won't be able to bring in a free agent like a Trey Boston. We won't be able to bring in Trey Boston, man. So he's out the picture now. So, yeah. So, but yeah, man, I would agree with Nick. I would say, sorry, Spoon, around 60 to 70% that Xavier Woods would return because. Not only because of the value, but he's an in-house guy that the Cowboys are familiar with. He's already, they're familiar with them. And a lot of these mid-tier guys, man, they're not going to get the deal that they're going to think they're going to get outside of Dallas. So I feel like maybe it's a 1 year show and prove it type deal. I feel like Stephen Jones would be comfortable with bringing Xavier Woods back. But like Nick also said, is I think we need to have some insurance policy, have a competition. Don't just give him the starting position because he started his entire career in Dallas. Bring in some other guys, maybe some Malik Hooker or whatnot, and let them really battle it out and win the position. But if I had to put money on it, I would say Xavier Woods would be returning to Dallas.
All right, I'm going to go before Spoonie goes. I'm going to give him his space here. I do like this from Mendoza. Should Woods be playing cornerback? Hey, we know we need Louisiana Tech. That's a valid question. I think it's the eye of the beholder. When it comes to Dan Quinn and what he thinks he can do with him. I think this will definitely come directly down to Dan Quinn when it comes to Xavier Woods. But again, sometimes the number of games just happens. Right. I'm kind of with you guys. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I think it's 80% chance that he's going to be back. I mean, it just makes sense, right? We're kind of going back to the system before because Nick said the first 3 years, right? We're kind of going back to a familiar system where he wasn't so terrible before he made this 70% comment. Whatever, right. We're not asking you. You're the Band-Aid for the draft. We don't want you to be the starter. Everything lines up to Stephen Jones and how he operates and what this team is. So yeah, that's where I'm at. 80% for me, guys. Spoonie. The floor is yours, sir. I'll go grab some more questions over here.
You don't expect, man, we're in the NFL. You don't expect us to full speed for 70 plays. That's not possible. But
all right,
it's not possible, Spoon.
As I'm here with you guys, I'm not feeling very well today, but I got my shades on because. After just hearing the number 25's name again, my eyes are teary. My stomach is quivering right now. No, I definitely don't want him on this team. He does not deserve to wear that star on his helmet. Whether it's a comment he made, it's his gameplay. I don't know how many. Don't get me wrong. 2018 was probably his best year. 10 interception. That's great, but. Good players adjust. I'm sorry. You hang out with Jamal Adams in the offseason. You're working out. You didn't take no notes from him at all. You took pictures with him.
Maybe Jamal told him 70%.
Oh, well, listen. I'll tell you this right. Look, Jamal went from the Jets to Seattle and led the team in sacks. He did something. This kid has not done anything but make excuses. No disrespect. And I'm not an NFL player. He is. But I'm a critic. I can be a critic. And again, he don't fit the Cowboys. He may be a good fit elsewhere. I'd rather go out there and sign Ricardo Allen, who's 29 years old, might be 30 by the time the season starts, who's 5'9", by the way. And he'll give me more effort with this Dan Quinn defense than Woods.
Okay.
And but here's the thing. I will say this. It's hard for me to say. I do understand what y'all saying. About 70% he may come up because those are the things that Stephen Jones would do. But what Nick said is one thing. You sign Xavier Woods, draft somebody. Just let Woods get somebody, and let the guy just beat him out.
And when I say draft somebody,
I'll take that.
Before the 6th round, like in your top 2, maybe 3 at best. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a guy there unless you're trading back from 10. But yeah, I mean, draft somebody a little bit higher. Let's get to some more questions here, real quick, guys. Who has a better year, Jalen or D-Law? You know, Jalen's making the move to Sam linebacker in this new defense. What do y'all think? Jalen or D-Law has the better season next year? I'll start with you, J-Tuck.
Yeah, I would say DeMarcus Lawrence has a better year because he's going to be more comfortable going back into a traditional 4-3. And I feel like if we are able to bring in that one tech that we've been speaking about so highly on this show, it's going to open things up because you're going to have a guy who's going to demand a double team. And then that way, you know, DeMarcus Lawrence gets one-on-one as far as the protection scheme is concerned. So if I had to put my money on it, I would say DeMarcus Lawrence, but though I expect a much better year from Jalen Smith, especially if we move him away from the middle linebacker. So that's why he's not thinking too much internally. He can use his natural instincts, but I would expect a leap as far as DeMarcus Lawrence, because a lot of people have been down to Marcus Lawrence. But if you don't watch the full scope of the game, he was the one of the most consistent players that we had last year on the defense. Yep. Not statistically wise, because a lot of people just think sacks. Like that's all it really transcends to. But when you really watch DeMarcus Lawrence and what he was really doing, he really had a decent year last year. It was just with the Mike Nolan scheme, he was standing up and doing all sorts of weird stuff. Now it's just really put your hand in the dirt, go forward, add pressure. That's what D-Law got his money doing. So I expect D-Law to have a good year next year.
Spoon, D-Law, or Jalen? Who you got?
I'm with Tuck. I'm with D-Law.
Okay.
I think, like I said, it's gonna be his comfort zone, his style. And listen, you're gonna have a full, healthy Randy Gregory, so you're gonna have guys around you that's gonna help you be able to not face the double team as much as he did in the past. So I got D-Law.
Nick, who you rolling with?
It's a clean sweep. It's definitely D-Law, in my opinion. Even in a quote-unquote down year, he was still this team's best defender, in my opinion.
Right.
Most disruptive, most game to planned against, with slightly better coverage, a year 2 digs, hopefully some better interior defensive line play. Those sack numbers should go up. When a quarterback feels a little bit of pressure and he can easily step up or can easily get rid of, it's going to impact those sack numbers. So those can be misleading. I think he's still the best player, and it's always a safe bet to go with him for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could turn on tape last year. There was times he was getting triple teamed.
Right.
I mean, I'm not even lying. I mean, you could cut on the all 22. He was getting triple teamed at times, and Nick with the jewel in there. We're going to believe that we're going to fix it because I think we're all on board. They're going to do something with that interior. And the big thing was, man, every quarterback that we played last year, I don't care if he was a scrambler or not, it was so easy just to step forward, right, and get away from the pressure from a D-Law or whoever the case is. So I'm with that too. Yeah, D-Law is a clean sweep here. Although I'm with J-Tuck as well, I do think limiting Jalen, getting him in the 4-3 under, getting him out of the middle, putting him on the edge, letting him go be the quote-unquote godbacker from Notre Dame that he was, maybe 40-45% of the snaps will be a better Jalen. Steve Lupton says, would you tag any of our remaining free agents? No, I don't. No. Anybody want to tag anybody? Yeah, no.
I'm moving on from that term tag for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good here.
If we had to, just for the fun of it, it'd be Cheeto. That's it.
I think you might be right. I can't think of a better name.
I mean,
only name.
Fair. But if you didn't tag Byron, are you really going to tag Cheeto?
Right.
Oh no.
So, but I mean, yeah. If If you had to pick a guy, though, Spoon, I agree with you. If you had to pick a guy, it would be Cheeto. But yeah, no, the tag will stay away. Do anything else? Here's my thing. Moving the chains. I don't really care if he makes a Pro Bowl. Can he be an All Pro? Pro Bowl is this weird thing now where it's fan voted things happening. I love Donovan Wilson. I've banged the table from the time that we drafted him. I actually been the table during the draft for him. Injuries kind of cost him some draft position. But forget Pro Bowl. I want to see, can he make All Pro? This is where I'm at. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Over the cap, by the way, Matt Owen's on fire tonight in the chat, man. Shout out to Matt Owen. Over the cap has Dak cap hits as this without touching anything. 22.2, 33.2, 44.2, 47.2, 13.2, and 0. Obviously, the last 2 years are avoidable. It's never, and what we talked about at the very top of the show, if you just tuned in, them last 2 years are fodder. That's so the Cowboys can say they got him on a 6-year deal. Looks like they won their side of the negotiations. It's never going to get to the last 2 years. That 44.2 is where you'll see the new deal come in my opinion. But again, guys, let's talk about the first 2 years.
Okay.
Let's divvy that up, right? Because we're excited. Dak signed, right? Could have been 37. Could have been 37 this year. Could have been 37 just this year. 22 and 33 the next 2 years, guys. I have my thoughts about the numbers. I want to see what y'all. Whenever you see 22 and 33 for the next 2 years, and the 44 doesn't scare me, but I just want to talk about the next two. I see 22 and 33. What is the first thing that hits your that rings in your head on that? I'll start with Nick. We'll go counterclockwise. We'll go clockwise this round.
Honestly, lower than I thought I was going to be. So I'm happy. I'm a happy camper with those two numbers. And like you said, the numbers will change. But no, 22 in a year where you're expecting the cap to most likely go down. You were expecting potentially as high as almost 38 million to be on the cap hit. So it gives you flexibility there. Next year, depending on what they do with the TV deals and with some of these new contracts that are going to come out, 33 is going to seem cheap. So I'm ecstatic about those two numbers for the first 2 years.
Spoonie, you see 22 and 33.
I'll tell you like this. I guess Stevie Jones did a better job than Howie Roseman with Carson Wentz's deal.
Oh, well,
I mean, if you come to think about it.
You know what? I think David Helman had the mean tweet, by the way. The Eagles are paying Carson Wentz more this season to play for the Colts than the Cowboys are paying Dak. Oh, go ahead, Spoon.
Listen, I think it was. I'm gonna call this love. Love is love. They show love to each other. We want like a 6-year deal looking like. Well, Dak will be up there during the new TV deal. 22 and 33. That definitely helps the team for them to get better, more players if they need to get better. That's a friendly contract. It's basically I eat, you eat, nobody starves.
Great. Remember that because people won't look at it that way.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
22 tells you what?
Yeah, I agree with Spoon, man. Like, I feel like there was some type of compromise that came within this contract, getting the negotiations. And so that 22 mil, it limits the conversation we've been having so many long nights about, eating up the cap space and, can't win a Super Bowl if a quarterback takes up. So Dak did take a kind of a team-friendly deal per se. You think about those first 2 years, it would have been 38 million this year for a tag and then 50 something next year for a tag. And so 54 some change next year for a tag. So everything works out. It gives the Cowboys more than enough opportunity to take advantage of free agency and sign guys to make this team competitive. And then by the time that 44 really hits, that's when the TV deals, the gambling, and all the fun stuff really kicks in. It'll be minimal compared to the cap. So I feel like it's a win-win from both standpoints. And I'm actually excited that they actually got this deal done. And I feel like there had to have been some type of compromise. What was it really? I don't know, but I feel like both sides really win. So Cowboys fans, if you're a real Cowboys fan and you want to make sure your team is being the most competitive to be out there on the field, I feel like this deal really puts us in that perspective where there is no more excuses. We can't really say, well, the Cowboys didn't address the defense because of Dak's contract. That's definitely not the case. Like we have 1 to 2, pretty much 3 years, we can really go and attack and bring in quality guys to help improve his overall team. So yeah, great on both parts. So
yeah,
Tyler France, so I didn't have to come to your hotel room and hanging out the balcony. So we're good, bro. Like,
no shit night action.
Yeah,
no shit night action. For me, I look at 22 and 33, and here's what I think. We're going to find a lot about Stephen Jones in the next 2 years.
Right.
That's what I think. I think you basically, because Stephen Jones for the past 3 years has campaigned and said, hey, every dollar has to go somewhere.
Right.
We can't bring guys back. We can't sign guys. We can't do this. Every dollar has to go somewhere is what Stephen has been up front on radio, wherever anybody can hear him. He shouted it into the echo chamber. Every dollar has to go somewhere. Okay. Well, you're literally for the next 2 years are going to have Dak cheaper than you had him for last year.
Right.
Basically, right? What was it?
32,
31.5.
Yeah.
Right. So in the ballpark, relatively, if you will. So it's on Steven now. The quarterback's not is his numbers the first 2 years are way undervalued for market value, if you will. What are you going to do with the money? How are you going to build this team? And that's what I look at. Again, this is what we said. For those that don't understand, and I promise we'll get off this cast, we'll go to Twitter and everything. We're going to see Cowboys fans like, oh my God, they overpaid Dak.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the brass tacks and you understand the situation, you're going to see this thing like Dak literally took a deal. Like both sides won this deal. That's what we talked about earlier in this show. Both sides had their wins on this deal. For Dak, he's like, okay, I'll take less. You know what you can't do to me again, though? You can't tag me again. And you can't trade me. Fair. Because I want to be here.
Right.
So it lets you know, because there was the question.
That's exactly what it says. He wants to be here. Right.
And there was a question. The question was out there. Like Fisher brought it up, right? There was a question out there. Hey, does Dak want to be here?
Right.
The contract says Dak wants to be here. It also says you say I need to give some money or whatever. Okay, fair. Here you go. Now go build me a team. And to me, the first 2 years says, okay, well, I got 2 off seasons now for Stephen Jones to put a championship roster together and let's go win a Super Bowl. And that's what I look at. And look, and even the third year, like I said, we talk about the salary cap 3 years from now, guys, 44, not nothing. Because those cap is going to look different for a lot of different people. So I'm there. Moving the chains, I'm so sorry, she says. But does he make All-Pro? You didn't answer me, BJ. I'm sorry. Yes, I do think yes, I do think that we're going to see even a better year from Donovan Wilson moving forward. He'll be the unequivocal starter moving forward. He's going to be in this defense. Yeah, you think about him. I'm not going to say he's going to be. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be Cam Chancellor, but he's going to kind of play that role a little bit, right, guys? And I do think the ceiling is very high for Donovan Wilson. I've always kind of believed that. I'm glad to see him play and get in there, guys. Again, can we get some of this front side handled? But even with all the buffoonery that was happening on defense last year, guys, we saw Donovan Wilson make plays with a little bit more structure and things happening. I think we see Donovan Wilson do a little bit better. I'm sorry, moving the chains. Please do not get at me on Twitter and get on my head. I am very, very sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, Stewart's in here. Stuart, now you said we wasn't going to sign him. We did, but he does have a question for you, Tug. The old antagonist. There's 2 questions. Now that you have the quarterback signed, what do you think the record will be this year as of right now? Way too soon for that, Stu. I'm not going to try to answer that. I mean, we got free agency. We got a draft. I mean, who knows? My goodness. He said, just for entertainment purposes. Okay, I'll shoot it. I'll shoot one at you. Second, Tuck. Now, you did talk about this on your show a little bit while ago. Did you get your tickets now they signed Dak?
Yeah, man. That payment was submitted last Thursday, man. So I can call my bank and tell it, go ahead and clear it, man. It's good, man. So I didn't have to send Jerry and Stephen Jones a post-dated check or nothing or a money order. Everything's good. We're clear. We're ready, man. Because even if we didn't resign Dak, man, and we're going to tag him and kind of go through this lethargic season, I was going to sell my tickets to Eagles fans, man. I'm always going to re-up some way, somehow. So we're good, man. Yeah, I'm excited for the season. So,
we went. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it feels good to actually be excited for the season because to think about it, for the most part, I wasn't. So,
okay. So here we go. We went 6-10 last year, right? A plethora of injuries. I'll say Dak's good for at least 3 wins, even with the injuries.
Right.
That gets us at 9-7. Without knowing anything else, I'll put us at 10. I believe in Dak into the city will be 10-6.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I'll at least believe for entertainment purposes. Again, we got to wait and see how this thing plays out. But to entertain the question, I think Dak was worth 3 wins last year. Look, we definitely win the Philly game if it wasn't for Ben DiNucci, right? If we look how we played against Pittsburgh, if it's Dak there, we probably win that game as well. So that's 2 off the rip. I'm pretty sure if I go back and look in between the blur lines, there you go. I mean, I think there's 3 there for sure, right? Even with everything that was going on. So, yeah, I mean that makes us 9-7, and
Baltimore?
10-6, maybe, but 10-6, 10-6 as we stand right now. I'll say we're 10-6, guys. Anybody want to jump on the ledge, get on that little, and that's a very small twig of a limb.
Yeah. I would just say I would say a 10-win season easily.
Oh, well, okay. Well, dadgummit, Brian. Don't bring reality here. I know it's a 17 game season now. Dadgummit. He brought reality into it, but we're just doing off of last year.
right. So 11 wins. There you go.
All right, 11
there you
go. 11 wins. With 11 wins. With that being said, guys, man, we've been rocking actually a little bit longer than I anticipated us being on. Sorry, Nick. Sorry if I held you too long. Jade Tuck, I know you got in here a little bit left. Sorry, went a little long. Some things happened. We had some questions happening. Man, I mean, it is a holiday, man. I mean, it'll go down, man. We got Dak signed.
Yeah.
We got Dak signed, guys. I mean, it's hope, right? For the younger fans that never saw a Super Bowl, today's their Super Bowl. That kind of sounds sad, but it's kind of true, though, a little bit. But, the biggest thing is it's clarity now. We can move forward. We can get back. Look, you were started looking at tape in this draft. You can get re-energized.
Get back, man. I was hating draft film this weekend. I was like, bro, I don't care, man. Because I started to get off into the quarterback ram. I was like, all right, man, let me look at these stupid quarterbacks. I was just getting mad. I turned it off. Like, no, I'm not looking at it. So now I can really
Trey Lance. How's Trey Lance looking? We need to take Trey Lance at 10.
I don't know his name. I don't know his name no more.
I'm looking at quarterbacks, bro. Like, man, you should auction that wig off, Spoon. Auction the wig off.
You know what? Wait a minute. We do have a special guest. Can you wait 1 second? Hold up 1 second. Wait 1 second. Hold up a second. Let me get. Hold on.
Go ahead, Spoon. Go ahead, Spoon. Go ahead.
Finally put it to rest, man.
While Spoon gets the wig ready, man. Real quick, let me let y'all pay some bills for everybody else. I mean, Nick, where can they find you at, brother?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Nick_Herrera34.
Boom. J Tuck, family of the page, family of the group, man. Where can they get you at, man?
Yeah, man. You can find me on Twitter at JTuck151. I appreciate all the support. And also find me on Cowboys Fans Only on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I appreciate all your support, man. You guys rocking with me. It's an exciting day. There he is.
Spoonie Lawrence is in the building.
How you guys doing?
Well, Spoonie Lawrence, since you're here, while we have you, Matt Owen in the building said Nick's a great follow on Twitter. He is. That's how we kind of bumped into each other, and here we are. No ifs or buts about it. But Spoonie Lawrence, while we have you here, the Cowboys aren't going to be coming up for you no more, sir, because in case you didn't hear, the Dallas Cowboys did extend Dak Prescott. They got him underneath contract. So, unfortunately, you're going to Jacksonville. How do you feel about that?
Oh, well, listen, I was looking forward for the Dallas Cowboys to trade up and get me because that's America's team. I've been a dream to wear the star in my helmet for a very long time, and I thought, my dream was about to come true. But today it showed that I'm not one thing. I'm not thought about no more. Dak Prescott is the guy they think about. So I'm just, as long as it's not the Jets taking me, I'll settle for Jacksonville in the warm weather. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you had hopes, right? The last time the Cowboys took a quarterback number 1 overall, he had long blonde hair, a little bit different than yours. It was called a mullet. And I don't know if your generation knows about the mullet or not, but that's where it was. But
But you Dak haters though. I'm searching.
He's searching.
I'm searching. Some of y'all will have to talk.
Yeah. That's gonna be really funny here in a little bit. So, Spoonie Lawrence, before we get out of here, are you gonna cut the hair?
No, I'm not gonna cut the hair. You know, listen. Long hair has to be taken care of very good. You know, having long hair is a privilege.
It's very humid down there in Florida, though. It's very
It
humid
is.
down in Florida.
Hey, the babes love the babes love it. The babes love it. So being
All right.
Jacksonville, Duma, you know, they want to see the long hair. So I have to let it happen.
Mendoza's trying to keep us on here. He's like, oh, that number 10 pick.
Y'all see that speed? See that horn speed?
That did hit. It did click. It did hit. It did click. Anybody, Nick, you got a first round pick catch you want or no? No matter what happens with the draft, you have a pick cat.
Let's take best player available. I'm open to whatever. Let's get a good guy in here that we can have around for 5 years and see what happens. So,
Spoony, pick cat at 10.
Well, you know, Spoonie Lomas, he worked out with Kyle Pitts the other day. And you know, we also did a virtual thing, and because I can't be a Cowboy, I wish him well to be a Cowboy, especially in that I'm hearing this is a three-letter word, three-letter SEO, scorch earth offense. I'm hearing that. So I know Kyle Pitts would definitely fit into an offense just like that if drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. So I wish him well. He should be there by number 10.
We've been around this a lot, Jada. But I mean, as of today, you know, Dak's in the building. You got the 4 on the chest. You got the D. That D don't stand for Dallas right now. That D stands for Dak. Okay, where we at?
Auto draft, man. No, auto draft, man. It is what it is. No, man. It's still Kyle Pitts, man. Like I said, we got the biggest weapon, son. Let's add some more bullets to the clip, man, and get this thing really rolling. Because as we said, we can address what we really need defensively wise in free agency. So think about it. If you were to get a Dalvin Tomlinson, and let's say we bring in Malik Hooker, re-sign Cheeto, and then you add Cheeto or add Kyle Pitts to the clip, man. That's we're talking a lot different here in Dallas, man. That's fully loaded, locked and loaded, ready to go, man. So BPA, Kyle Pitts, let's go. But I feel like if he's there, it might be offensive tackle, man, to kind of get that insurance policy for your investment. So, but
no. Yeah. You got well, I mean, either way you're investing, right? Either way you're investing. You're
investing.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel with the investment, man. And you know, hey, man, I look and everyone comes at me, and I've done this before. Look, man, look, I love Blake Jarwin. But you got to get onto the field and you got to do certain things.
Right.
I look at the team and I look at what's happened, and this red zone is atrocious. It's been atrocious for years. And the one thing about Pitts is when he comes in, he automatically, to me, in my opinion, and what I look at is he elevates the red zone offense. We're not going to kick as many field goals. We're going to get touchdowns. So for me, currently standing, I'm out on Parsons. Sorry. Look, I'm not. There's a plethora of guys that they picked that I wouldn't be mad at. To be clear. But yeah, Pitts for me, I think does a ton for this team, and especially when I look at cornerback later in this draft and what I can do at cornerback. So and then linebacker as well. There's not a deep. The biggest problem with this draft in general is we need a one tech, we need a free safety. Look, there's nobody there at 10. And then even better here, there's not a Chase Young in this draft. There's not a Jalen Ramsey in this draft. There's not that guy like, okay, hey, if you want to change your defense, go get him. And unfortunately for us picking at 10 at this point, there's just not that guy there. That's what just kind of sucks. It's like, look, everybody has their own flavor of ice cream. You got Surtain, you got Farley, you got Horn. Bro, I can talk to 100 different people. It'll be 33.3% forever because neither one of those guys really truly separate themselves from the other guy. That's just where we are. So
there's no
I don't
Jalen
want
Ramsey, but there's a guy who's training with Jalen Ramsey. So
fair. You know, I just don't want to spend a number 10 pick to go get a Cheeto.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. That's what I'm scared about.
Right.
So, but with that being said, man, that's a different conversation for a different time.
Yeah, and we can focus on it now.
We can focus on it now because Dak Prescott is signed. And I know Nick got to pay some bills. Jordan, you got to pay some bills. Jay Tech, I'm going to pay some bills. Man, right there at the bottom of my screen, it says, your guy, Nick's _ in between on Twitter, man. Come mess with us. Man, we all be on Twitter, acting the fool. Obviously, if you're on Facebook, Stargame group, or my personal page, I shared it everywhere. But group and also page, follow the page, join the group. And then on YouTube, man, I'm trying to get the YouTube numbers up. Stargame Podcast, man. Go hit that go hit that subscribe. Spoonie, where can they find you over there on Twitter, man?
Oh, you can find me at Spoonie881 and right at home at Stargame Podcast.
Yes, sir. And don't forget, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. We'll be back with Stargating live pod, talking Cowboys live. So appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. Y'all been awesome tonight. The chat was lit. Hey, man, celebrate, man. Pop bottles. Do what you got to do, man. Good time, Nick. Man, appreciate you, brother. We've interacted so much on Twitter and everything, man. Glad for you to come on and have this conversation.